David, the king chosen by God, ruled in Jerusalem. His reign was marked by significant achievements and profound faith. As a young shepherd, David had been anointed by the prophet Samuel, and he rose to become a mighty warrior and a beloved king. His journey to the throne was filled with trials and triumphs, but through it all, David remained a man after God's own heart. He had brought peace to the land. Under his leadership, the tribes of Israel were united and the nation flourished. The once divided and war-torn land now experienced a time of unprecedented tranquility and prosperity. David's military conquests had secured the borders, and his wise governance ensured justice and righteousness prevailed. He had built a palace for himself. This grand structure in Jerusalem was a symbol of his success and God's favor. The palace was not just a residence, but a testament to the stability and strength of his kingdom. It stood as a beacon of hope and a reminder of the divine promise that David's lineage would endure. But his heart yearned for something more. Despite his accomplishments, David felt a deep spiritual longing. He desired to honor God in a way that went beyond his personal achievements and the material splendor of his reign. His thoughts often turned to the Ark of the Covenant, the sacred chest that represented God's presence among his people. He wanted to bring the Ark of the Covenant, the symbol of God's presence, to Jerusalem. The Ark had been neglected during the reign of Saul, and David was determined to restore it to its rightful place. He believed that bringing the Ark to the heart of the nation would signify a renewed commitment to God and his covenant. David knew this was no small task. The Ark was not just a religious artifact, it was the most sacred object in Israel's history. It had to be handled with the utmost reverence and care. David consulted with his advisors and the priests, seeking guidance on how to transport the Ark in a manner that honored its holiness. The Ark was holy, set apart for God. It contained the tablets of the 10 Commandments, Aaron's rod that budded, and a pot of manna. These items were tangible reminders of God's covenant and his miraculous provision for his people. The Ark was a powerful symbol of God's presence, and it had to be treated with the highest respect. He gathered the leaders of Israel and shared his heart. David's passion for bringing the Ark to Jerusalem was evident in his words. He spoke with conviction and a deep sense of purpose, explaining why it was essential for the Ark to be in the capital city. He believed that this act would unify the nation and draw the people closer to God. "Let us bring the Ark of our God back to us, for we have not sought it out in the days of Saul." David's plea was heartfelt and sincere. He reminded the leaders of the neglect the Ark had suffered and the need to restore it to its rightful place of honor. His words were a call to action, urging the nation to return to their spiritual roots and seek God's presence once more. His words resonated with the people. The leaders and the common folk alike were moved by David's vision. They recognized the importance of the Ark and the significance of bringing it to Jerusalem. There was a collective sense of excitement and anticipation as they prepared to undertake this sacred mission. They too longed for God's presence in their midst. The desire to be close to God was a shared sentiment among the people of Israel. They yearned for the days when God's presence was visibly manifest among them, guiding and protecting them. The return of the Ark symbolized a new beginning, a chance to renew their covenant with God and experience his blessings once again. Preparations began in earnest. Jerusalem, the city of God's choosing, was to be made ready. David called upon the people to purify themselves. They were to consecrate themselves to the Lord, setting themselves apart for this holy task. The streets were cleaned and homes were adorned. The air buzzed with anticipation. The Ark, a symbol of God's covenant with his people, was coming to Jerusalem. The city, bathed in the warm glow of the approaching dawn, awaited its arrival. David knew the Ark was not to be treated like an ordinary object. God had given specific instructions in the law of Moses. Only the Levites, the descendants of Levi, were to carry the Ark. To touch it otherwise was a grave offense. David reminded the Levites of their sacred duty. "You are the sons of Levi," he said. "You shall bear the Ark of the Lord God of Israel." Their faces reflected the weight of their responsibility. They would carry not just a chest, but the very presence of God. The descendants of Aaron, the priests, also gathered. They were responsible for the sacrifices and offerings that would accompany the procession. They wore their priestly garments, symbols of their office and their closeness to God. The air filled with the aroma of burning incense. The priests chanted prayers, their voices echoing in the morning air. The people watched in reverent silence, their hearts filled with awe and anticipation. Section 5. Music for a king. In the annals of history, music has always held a special place, transcending mere entertainment to become a powerful force that can move the soul and elevate the spirit. This chapter delves into the profound impact of music in the time of King David, a period where melodies and rhythms were not just heard, but felt deeply within the hearts of the people. David, a gifted musician himself, understood the power of music to move the soul. His skill with the harp was legendary, and it is said that his music could soothe even the most troubled spirits. David's relationship with music was deeply personal, and he often used it as a means to connect with the divine. His compositions were not just songs, but prayers set to melody, each note a testament to his faith and devotion. He appointed singers and musicians to accompany the procession. These processions were grand events, filled with the sounds of various instruments, each chosen for its unique ability to contribute to the overall harmony. The musicians were not merely performers, they were integral to the spiritual experience, their music guiding the hearts and minds of the people towards a collective sense of worship and celebration. He chose the best musicians in the land, those who could stir the hearts of the people with their melodies. These musicians were masters of their craft, each one capable of evoking a wide range of emotions through their playing. Whether it was joy, sorrow, or reverence, the music they created was a powerful tool for communication and expression. The sound of trumpets pierced the air, announcing the coming of the King and the King of Kings. The trumpets were not just instruments, they were heralds of important events, their bold and brassy tones cutting through the noise to deliver messages of significance. In the context of these processions, the trumpets signaled the presence of royalty and the divine, their sound a call to attention and reverence. The rhythmic beat of the tambourines, a sound that could be both soothing and invigorating, added a layer of complexity to the musical tapestry. The tambourines were often played by skilled musicians who understood the importance of rhythm in creating a cohesive musical experience. Their beats provided a steady foundation upon which the other instruments could build, ensuring that the music remained grounded and focused. The sweet melodies of the lyres, instruments known for their delicate and enchanting sound. The lyre players were often seen as the poets of the musical ensemble, their gentle strumming capable of weaving intricate and beautiful melodies that could captivate the listener. The lyres added a touch of elegance and sophistication to the music, their notes dancing lightly through the air, and the clash of cymbals filled the air. The cymbals, with their sharp and resonant sound, provided dramatic punctuation to the music. Their clash could signify moments of great importance or transition, adding a sense of drama and excitement to the proceedings. The cymbal players had to be precise and attentive, ensuring that their contributions were perfectly timed to enhance the overall impact of the music. The music was not just entertainment, it was an act of worship, an expression of joy and gratitude to God. In these ancient times, music was a bridge between the earthly and the divine, a way for the people to communicate their deepest emotions and aspirations. The musicians played with a sense of purpose and reverence, knowing that their music was a vital part of the spiritual life of the community. Through their melodies and rhythms, they helped to create a sacred space where the divine could be felt and experienced by all. Finally, the moment arrived. The Ark of the Covenant, hidden from view beneath a rich canopy, emerged from the distance. The Levites, their faces etched with concentration, carried the Ark on their shoulders. The procession moved towards Jerusalem, and the city erupted in celebration. People lined the streets, waving palm branches and shouting for joy. The sound of their rejoicing echoed through the hills, a testament to their love for God and their King. David, overcome with joy, danced before the Lord with all his might. He wore a simple linen ephod, shedding his royal robes to identify with his people. His heart overflowed with gratitude as he led the procession, his every step an act of worship. The people joined him, their voices raised in songs of praise. They danced with abandon, their hearts filled with joy. In that moment, all social barriers were forgotten, They were one people, united in their love for God. Yet not all shared in the joy of that day. Michal, David's wife, watched from a window. She saw her husband, the king, dancing with abandon. Instead of joy, she felt contempt. She thought his actions were undignified, unbefitting a king. Her heart, hardened by pride, could not comprehend the depth of David's devotion. She had lost sight of the greatness of God and the significance of the moment. In her eyes, David's display of worship was something to be scorned. The Ark's arrival in Jerusalem marked a pivotal moment in Israel's history. This sacred event was not just a mere relocation of a religious artifact, but a profound moment that symbolized the unification of the tribes of Israel under one God. The Ark, representing God's covenant with his people, was a beacon of hope and divine presence. As it entered the city, the atmosphere was electric with anticipation and reverence. The streets of Jerusalem were filled with people from all walks of life, eager to witness this historic event. The Ark's presence was a reminder of God's promises and his unwavering faithfulness to his people. It was a time of great joy and celebration, a testament to God's faithfulness to his people. The air was filled with the sounds of jubilation, music and dancing. Families gathered together, sharing in the collective joy of the moment. The celebration was not just a public event, but a deeply personal experience for many. It was a time when the community came together, united in their faith and gratitude. The joy was palpable, and it was a reflection of the deep connection the people felt with their Creator. This celebration was a powerful reminder of the importance of community and shared faith. David's heartfelt worship, in contrast to Michal's disdain, stands as a timeless example of true devotion. David, the king, danced with all his might before the Lord, unashamed and fully immersed in his worship. His actions were a bold declaration of his love and reverence for God. Michal, on the other hand, looked upon David with disdain, unable to understand the depth of his devotion. This contrast highlights the different ways people can respond to God's presence. David's worship was pure and unfiltered, a true expression of his heart. It serves as a reminder that true worship comes from a place of genuine love and reverence for God. The story of the Ark's journey reminds us that God desires to dwell among his people. The journey of the Ark was not just a physical movement, but a spiritual journey as well. It symbolized God's desire to be close to his people, to walk with them and guide them. The Ark's journey was filled with challenges and obstacles, but it was also a journey of faith and trust in God's promises. It serves as a powerful reminder that God is always with us, guiding us and leading us on our own spiritual journeys. The Ark's journey is a testament to God's enduring presence and his desire to be in relationship with his people. It calls us to approach him with reverence and awe, but also with hearts overflowing with joy and gratitude. The presence of the Ark was a call to worship, a call to come before God with a heart full of reverence and awe. But it was also a call to come with joy and gratitude, recognizing the many blessings that God has bestowed upon us. The ancient worshippers approached the Ark with a deep sense of reverence, but also with a profound sense of joy. Their worship was a beautiful blend of awe and gratitude, a true reflection of their relationship with God. It serves as a powerful reminder of how we should approach our own worship today. Like David, let us dance before the Lord with all our might, celebrating his presence in our lives. David's dance was a powerful expression of his joy and gratitude for God's presence. It was a celebration of God's faithfulness and love. As we reflect on David's example, let us also find ways to express our own joy and gratitude for God's presence in our lives. Whether through dance, song, or prayer, let us celebrate with all our might, recognizing the many ways that God is present with us. Let us be unashamed in our worship, fully immersed in the joy of being in relationship with our Creator.